Hello, my name is Kento Yasukawa, and I'll be presenting my research titled Mediated Reinforcement and Cooperative Responding. For my background, there has been an increasing interest in studying the behavior of two organisms, but a majority of research design investigates coordination responses in which responses of two organisms must occur simultaneously for the delivery of mutual reinforcement, which is the immediate delivery of reinforcers to both organisms at the same time. This design, however, arranges the reinforcers to be delivered contingent on the organism's own response. Another way of investigating the responses of two organisms is by arranging mediated reinforcement in which the delivery of reinforcement is contingent on the response of a co-actor while independent of the response of the actor receiving the reinforcer. In 1966, Bourne demonstrated that responding between two organisms can be maintained by mediated reinforcement, but only when the responses are forced to alternate. For the methods, I used three pairs of pigeons that were exposed to two conditions. One condition exposed the pigeons to a discrete trial individual reinforcement condition in which the opportunity for reinforcement was signaled by the illumination of the target key under a variable interval 30-second schedule. In the second condition, the pigeons were exposed to a discrete trial mediated reinforcement condition in which a response by one pigeon would result in reinforcement being delivered to its co-actor. The requirement to respond alternated between each pair under a fixed ratio 1 schedule. The experiment was conducted using a single operand chamber divided in half by a clear partition with two response panels on each side. For my results, primary data collected were response latencies, and the graphs show the median response latencies for each session for both pigeons and each pair. Responding for all three pairs was maintained under the mediated reinforcement condition. Two of the three pairs showed a steady upward trajectory as the condition continued, while one pair showed a stable response latency throughout the condition. Additionally, compared to the individual reinforcement condition, all of the pigeons' response latencies increased relative to the prior condition. For the potential impact, the procedure of mediated reinforcement may provide insight into how social interaction is maintained between people. For example, in the case in which person A does a favor for person B, perhaps what maintains this behavior is the delayed reinforcement that is delivered by person B. The experiment was followed up by examining whether mediated reinforcement was different from delay of reinforcement. Additionally, additional experiments investigated whether the social stimulus exhibited differential control over the behavior of its co-actor. However, data has not been presented due to time as well as the experiment still being active. A follow-up experiment aims to assess whether responding can be maintained when mediated reinforcement deviates from a strict one-to-one alternation. That is all. Thank you very much for listening.